Dun, dun, dun. Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of the weekly. This is not the first episode of the year. This is just our CES wrap up. I figured I would do it now because why wait till Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it's the usual crew. We have Mr. Juan Bagnell from Pocket Now. How's it going, man?
It's going all right, guys. I think we're all a little low energy. I think we're all trying to get our recuperation on from the show floor just in time for MWC to hit us right all over again.
Next up is Mr. Warren Bowman.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We're here. Come on, thumbs up. Let's do this. Come on, you gotta give us some of the energy.
we need that energy.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm trying to actually type in the live chat. I can't do it for some reason. I can't type in the live chat. So it seems like Hangouts is slowly dying on us, or actually quickly dying on us, because we have no lower thirds. But I mean, you know who we are. So thanks for joining in. So CES was this week. It started on a very
last week.
Started on a very odd date. Because for us, it started on the 2nd. Most of us flew in or came in around the 2nd. We had press days, 2 days. Really, just one day. One actual press day, and then 2 days of the show floor. Actually, for me, 2 days of show floor, but it went through Sunday. So first off, actually, let's move this. I was going to say, what do you think of the show? Let's move that away. Let's go to, because people care about what we saw and what we liked. Let's start off with some of the cool things that we saw and liked at the show this year. I'll start off with you, Juan. What did you see that you like? Because again, there's the Pocket Now side of you, and then there's some gadget guy. So, what did both sides of Mr. Juan Bagnell see at the show?
Yeah, I mean, so like the Pocket Now side of the equation, I think we'd all say was kind of slim, was a little lean if we're talking about Pocket Now's mission of covering smartphones, tablets, and wearables. That I think was very tepid. We got some hands-on with the Casio, so that was kind of cool for smartwatches, seeing Android Wear 2.0 for the 10 people out there that are like me and still care about smartwatches. Zenfone AR was an interesting discussion, an 8 GB of RAM smartphone with a Qualcomm 821, which was Daydream and Tango compatible. But of course, Tango disabled on the actual show, so we couldn't show any of it. So that was kind of lame also. For me personally, this was a good year for some fun camera tech. 2 outings from Kodak that I thought were really interesting. They have their first truly spherical 4K action cam, a 360 degree by 360 degree little action camera. Kodak was really early to the game, but their early cameras only had like one direction of wraparound, and now they've got both of their lenses in play. I think that'll be a lot of fun to play with. The Kodak film camera, the new Super 8 camera, looks fucking bomb. I love it. I need one. I want to start shooting Super 8 film all over again, just like I did when I was a little kid. And then, of course, the Panasonic GH5 on the show floor, just fucking tearing it up. I think that's going to be my new video camera. That thing looks like it's going to be a beast.
Yeah, I hear you on the GH5, man. I mean, you should. Okay, I'll put it this way. We walked over the Panasonic, and Daniel uses the GH4.
Yeah.
And we spent almost an hour in the booth because Daniel was doing this.
It was the same thing. Like me and Hayato were like, wait a minute, I thought this had like 10-bit UHD video capture. Oh, with me, we were in the LPM mode. Let's check out the bitrate over here. And like we spent so much time digging through all the settings on that. But even like with a more compressed video output, at some point in 2017, you will see my videos bump to UHD video at 60 frames per second, and I'm gonna be so happy.
And HDR, baby, HDR on that bad boy. So
I don't know. I mean, like I think I want resolution and frame rate over HDR, so I think that's gonna be my jam.
I'm just saying, I just want to do HDR video, at least 1 or 2, just a couple. I could even do it like this is my review of 4K 60 frames, and then this is the HDR video.
Review. I'm gonna double shoot everything just to see what people want.
depends on the product, though. Like,
okay, I must have been the only one that was Kanye shrugging at it. I suppose I just didn't. It was like, whatever. I don't know. Wasn't a big deal to me. I'll wait. I'm more of a camcorder person, so I'd rather wait to get that on a camcorder.
No, I mean, I am a camcorder user, but I really liked what I think also just because Panasonic stated things they wanted to bring, and they brought it. Unlike Canon, who early in the year flubbed. Later in the year last year, flubbed on the Mark 5D, which a lot of people were hoping to see some really big things, and it looks like it didn't deliver. So, I think it was cool. How about you, Warren? What did you see? What excited you at the show?
There wasn't anything that particularly excited me greatly on it, but there was a lot of cool things to see. I think a lot of the new TV technology was pretty cool. Not so much the TVs themselves, but things like the QLED and what Samsung's doing with that. And then you also have Sony bringing OLED. We already have another OLED, finally coming to market. And then the other thing that they had on the wall is demonstration, which was their what is it called? Cletus something. It's the Crystal. It's like the Crystal LED.
Oh,
Sony. That big giant wall that you walk into.
Oh yeah.
That was the Crystal LED. That's their new tech on it, and it completely blew away anything that was OLED related in terms of its quality. It's not something that's out just yet, but I thought that was pretty cool to see that. Not so there was a myriad of little different things from Dell. Nothing that that was like the big talk of the show. I think TV sort of may have been the new talk. Maybe it kind of made that return.
Made that comeback, yeah.
Come back to sort of, because everybody sort of had a TV or whatnot that did something in 4K, used something of either quantum dot or OLED technology, one or the other. But I'd be really interested. I'm really interested in that Crystal LED technology that they're using. If that could be a true game changer, if Sony decides to if they can get that at a decent price point and sort of maybe move away, maybe put that in competitor against OLED, it could be something pretty interesting. Sony might be able to find themselves back in the TV game.
I mean, yeah, they definitely can. I asked Sony about specs on the Crystal LED. They didn't release anything, which is a little disappointing. Just because it looked really. One thing you notice is that TV was really bright and sharp. I mean, not the TV, the display panel. Sorry, I call it TV. Yeah. My bad, but it was really sharp and bright.
It made things look like 3D too.
Yeah, so which means you're looking at something at over probably about 2,500 nits or so, just in terms of brightness. Because remember when we went to the QLED event, I was standing at the back and they lifted the thing, and you could clearly just see how bright that QLED TV was. Because it was very interesting, because this year Samsung didn't go the route of thinness. Sometimes Samsung tends to go through that whole we're making it super slim. They didn't even talk about dimensions of the TV. They just said
not like Xiaomi did. Oh man, wasn't that a great press conference?
I cut off of that one completely. No, but Samsung talked about color. For them was color and user interface, which I'm glad to see them try and improve the things that really make the viewing experience much better than just throwing some new tech or throwing something a new design. So for Samsung, that's a little weird for them in a sense, because they like to always give you that pizzazz in there. And this year they went with improving the experience altogether, which is cool. I mean, the LG looked really good. I had a problem with the LG because they didn't mention, but I have a feeling the panel itself is the same panel from last year in terms of the W7. So to me, it's no improvement in my head. And I know that Sony's also using the same panel. Sony can tell you whatever they want. That OLED is an LG OLED panel.
What in the Sony?
Yeah, it's an LG OLED panel.
Well, I mean,
it's driven by their own engine.
Yeah, but it might be theirs because they actually debuted OLED before LG did.
Not that size. This is an LG. They also stopped manufacturing OLEDs a couple of years ago. So this is a straight up LG panel.
We'll see.
No, it is. Trust me.
I don't know.
It is no OLED. It's an LG panel. Yeah, it definitely is.
We'll
The other reason why is that it's also not considered their flagship. The Z9D series that came out at the end of the year is considered Sony's flagship. So they don't consider this as their flagship panel. They look at this as something because they felt that they could drive it better with their engine rather than what LG is doing. And LG is looking for somebody to actually enter into the OLED game with them so that prices can drop down as far as they're concerned. But I mean, in terms of things that I really liked, I liked stuff from Razer. I thought even though the Razer Ariana reminded me of the Microsoft Luminous Room, which was that Kinect project when Microsoft first announced the Kinect. The fact that Razer still had it and you could connect it with Philips Hue lighting too, not just your mouse, your keyboard, and the projector. You can also add more things to it in terms of like connected home devices. Was really cool. I got to play with the Project Valerie laptop. Even though it is heavy as hell, I mean, it's a prototype. It's 19 pounds, but they actually got all 3 screens working.
Yeah.
And we're playing Battlefield on it. And yes, it looks amazing. It's not for everyone, of course, but it's for those really hardcore gamers that just want to take their gaming anywhere. And that's what Razer does. So I really like the fact that at least as a company, every year they always do something. They always just throw out something there.
And you want a company that can deliver something audacious. Like again, I think it's the Ferrari in the showroom, right?
Yeah.
You go to a car dealership, you want to see that really, sexy sports car out on the show floor before you can go and get like your minivan or something like that. And I think a company like Razer kind of helps keep a little pressure on the rest of the laptop industry.
Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely do that. I mean, because after seeing that, and I went to go see what Acer showcased with their behemoth 21-inch laptop. I was like, I'd rather take the 3 screens anyway than do the 21-inch laptop.
Well, yeah, I actually thought there was like a good argument to be made for either, and both of them end up being like proper desktops that kind of fold up. Like I love all these little like hoops we jump through. It's a desktop replacement. No, like, it's a slightly more portable LAN machine. It's not something you're gonna want to lug around.
No,
I mean, I don't even like lugging around my Razer Blade. And it's a fairly compact system. It's a little on the heavy side for how big it is, but this is like you're gonna set it up and then it's probably never going to move ever again. And Acer and Razer have Acer and Razer have very different definitions on what's an immobile laptop supposed to do.
It's pretty much if you have a job where they assign you to places for 1 month or 2 months or something like that, that's the perfect rig for you.
And I could also see where maybe for a show like CES, if we'd hired an editor, so you're just going to work from the hotel room. This is the machine you're going to work on. Something like that could be pretty sweet too, but it's not something that would make it out to the press room. Like I'm not putting that in a bag.
Oh no,
I'm not carrying it around.
No. First of all, it's sad that somebody stole the damn thing. Apparently 2 of them got jacked at the show.
This is why we can't have nice things, people.
I'm trying to figure out how the hell that even happens on the CS show floor, especially considering where it was.
I think maybe when they were like trying to
packing up,
cases were coming off, and people just kind of moving around.
You remember like when we used to wait till the last day of the show, like, hey, can we get some review units on stuff? And someone just like hands over the laptops.
Yeah.
Here, Linus Tech Tips. Why don't you not drop this?
Oh man, but the whole thing is it's pretty sad. But for the fact of the laptop, it was. I looked at it and I was like, why? I get doing cool things, but these are the things that Razer does. That hey, cool, come look at us, and, get the attention. But it's like that's not probably something that's going to be either out there.
There are a bunch of like really super niche usage scenarios that could make a lot of sense. Like that to me would probably be a really cool.
That's a cool editing machine, though. Either way.
No, I was gonna say not only even editing. Like if you've ever been on a film set, when you're shooting out on location, have something where you can really review footage and have a couple different things happening all in the same time, you'd want a really powerful machine to do that, and that would give you some really killer screen real estate to get that stuff done too. Again, I mean, like, is that ever going to be even like a gamer common scenario? No, but I'm happy to see a company that's making something crazy, and then you can find some solutions where that extra audaciousness can maybe fit.
I think for them, one of the things with that is that they were trying to just get the. I mean, the unit that I played with was a pure prototype.
Hold on, what am I missing something on this Linus meme? Did something happen? Okay.
No. Like, as soon as it happened, I tweeted like, I would definitely investigate Linus, but let's all be real. He'd probably have dropped it before he made it off the show floor.
What did he drop something?
Oh, he drops all kinds of things. There's like a montage of him like, oh, here's this really expensive video card, and he'll drop it. Or here's this expensive laptop, and he'll drop it. And the kid's just got like butterfingers. I love his channel, which is why I threw it out there. But
I actually saw him. I saw him at the show when I was looking at the Sony TVs. Actually, he was recording something kind of short.
He's shorter than you think he'd be, but
or maybe I'm just too tall. I don't know.
You are kind of huge.
Gigantus. No, but I mean, what I was saying is that
Milo's blaming you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Milo's confident that he wants that $25,000 reward, for information. He's gonna turn you in.
Wow. Sorry, I didn't. I was there with them. They know I was there, so I wasn't.
I'm just trying to figure out how the hell this gets stolen, even at the end of the show floor where like there's barely anybody there. I was there until about 2 p.m. on the last day before I took off.
It's either that or it's either somebody in shipping. That's literally how.
I mean, to say it got stolen off the show floor and you can bolt out that fast, even with people at the doors themselves, you have the security. I mean, it's not the most top-notch security, but I'm just like,
actually, can we talk about security there for a second? Because this is one of the first years where they were trying to do all the bag checks and stuff. And how
I didn't get bag checked once.
No, I mean, like, even before I had like my little media tag and everything, I would just walk by the security people at the Venetian, and they'd be like, "Okay, I guess you're not."
At the Venetian, they tagged my bag with some little thing on it to let you know that it was like already checked or something like that. But I kind of feel like if they saw a media badge, they would not harass you at all for this, because I'm pretty sure they got a lot of nasty comments from slowing down media folk when they're trying to be on time for something they're already late to getting to.
Yeah.
No. I mean, everything was foolish in the sense of like, you want to check bags. You check a bag once, and then anywhere I go, as long as I have that tag, you don't check my bag. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
It was. I think it was a terrible example of security theater, where we're going to inconvenience people to make it look like we're trying to do something to keep people safe. And if anything, all it did was create bottlenecks, which would have made a potential issue far more serious or far more dangerous.
No, it's funny because we went to a lounge in the Mandalay Bay Foundation room, and they checked they didn't let us with our bags in. We had to go check it in the bell desk, come back. And then, of course, he went through, and we're like, man, this is more security. And the guy there was like, yeah. I mean, I saw the silliness. It's like, I know somebody who made their own badge to walk in, and I was like, okay, that's
impressive.
That's not good. That really isn't good at all. But yeah, anything else in terms of devices? Anything on the okay, so what do you think about Huawei as a whole this year again? Huawei did the same thing where they have two press conferences, or at least two events, one for Honor brand, one for Huawei themselves. And, they basically showcased two devices. I was a little bummed out because I wanted them to kind of relaunch the Honor Magic in the US for the US audience, and not the Honor 6. Because the Honor 6, it's a nice device. There's nothing wrong with the Honor 6. Don't get me wrong there. But
have you guys played with one yet?
Well, the Magic?
No. The 6X.
6X, yeah. I have the 6X.
Yeah, we have the 6X.
Yeah. It's a nice device. It's an upgrade from last year's device. The problem is it's has micro USB 2017, right?
And it's a disappointment.
And is running Android 6.0.
Also a disappointment.
So,
But also, I mean, like compared to the 5X, where a lot of people were praising the 5X, and it was a phone that I don't think really did anything to change my mind about Honor or Huawei. This phone feels a lot nicer constructed. The camera is substantially better than what they were playing with last year. So considering the price point for the bummers that we've got on things like micro USB, I'm feeling a little bit better about this phone than I was Honor last year.
see, I'm different though. I really like the 5X because I looked at it from where we came from to 2015.
Right.
And I was like, this is a really cool device to start the year. And when you announce an Honor Magic before this,
oh yeah, no, I mean, like you've messed up all of the expectations.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think about the Mate announcement then?
It's interesting. I mean, the most they added was Alexa, which Alexa was every damn where this year.
Yes,
yeah, Amazon was hitting the ground hard.
Yeah, Amazon really took. Okay, I'll put it this way, right? So remember there was that. Remember our last show we talked about how there was this clip of a Microsoft with Harman Kardon speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard anything about that, right? Nothing. Yeah. Walked over to Lenovo. Lenovo has a smart speaker. You would think number one PC manufacturer would say this is a Cortana-based speaker or whatever the case may be. Bam, Alexa.
Yep. So for anyone who wasn't paying attention, the Mate 9 is finally going to be properly launched in the United States. One thing that surprised me was the price point. It's going to drop for $599, which I think is a very competitive price for that.
Yeah.
So for people who are asking in the chat, I'm not really watching anything. My Mate 9 is actually just grinding some levels on Marvel Future Fight.
Yes.
But I'm also super stoked because I don't have to use the European charger anymore. I finally have an American charger. But then also that it will get a software update sometime. They said Q2. Was that?
Yeah, Q2.
And it'll enable Alexa as an additional smart. So that's what I'm really curious to see is what does Huawei do on a phone to implement a smart assistant while we're all waiting to see what Google does with Google Assistant on future builds of Android. And I think that could be a really interesting fight for mobile devices.
I mean, I definitely agree. It's very interesting to see how that turns out. But I think on the mobile side, unless granted, Amazon's doing this whole push of Alexa everywhere, Alexa with, connected devices here, there, you name it, even TVs, I think. But I don't think they have that mobile platform use of Alexa. The same way Google, when you use Google Assistant on your smartphone, on the Pixel, you get this very different layout altogether. So
right.
So I'm just waiting to see how that turns out with that. But I mean, it was nice. Again, I liked at least the push that Huawei as a company did again this year at CES. Got devices in everyone's hands, got press moving. I mean, just the idea that they are trying to make that push. Always reminding people we're here. We have these cool devices. Remember us. Because it's going to be that kind of year again. So I think from them was pretty cool. Did you ever any of you head to the Qualcomm booth to check out the AR glasses?
No, and I saw your video on those. So that was unfortunately one of the things we just never did circle around to, but those looked really cool.
They are pretty dope, man. I mean, you put that, so there's two versions. One's 720p, one's 1080. The 720p is actually pretty cool. The 1080p almost felt like I was looking at like a 2K-ish display, just because it's right there. And in terms of field of view, it was much wider than what HoloLens was doing.
HoloLens, yeah,
much wider. I mean, I had a video playing, and it was really cool because the guy's talking to me and telling me, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm watching this video, but I'm looking at him at the same time. And so there was a demo I saw, but I couldn't record it because but when I came back to record, they didn't have that unit there. So they had a unit with a racing game, right? And it was kind of like a tabletop AR racing game. But you can change your views into a couple of viewpoints. You could do first person from the car, which means you can actually see yourself standing up, I'm watching watching yourself race. You could do a spectator view or kind of like pit crew view and stand and race from there and watch the car race around, which
That's
is
sick.
really trippy because you're like, you know, you're still looking at the person in front of you, and then you have a view underneath you. So it was really cool that they could do that with it, and it ran pretty smooth, like really smooth with the Snapdragon 835 processor.
So it's got the 835 built into it. Is it running stuff natively from the headset? It doesn't depend on another companion device?
Yeah, that is not running natively from the headset. They didn't show any of the software. They were just showing demos of things that
stuff running
it running could do. So that was it. But it's supposed to be running natively on the unit itself, where you don't need. I'm sure it's gonna be Android based, most likely. But that's all they were showing for that. But it was a really cool demo experience to use.
No, I mean, you guys know I'm super stoked for that kind of stuff to start dropping soon. So I'll be very interested in seeing if Qualcomm can kind of push that forward. Just, you know, a number of their other hardware initiatives haven't played out as well. So if they can beat HoloLens to a consumer solution, then I'll be really, really happy to see some competition in that space.
The thing with HoloLens that's interesting is the fact that, you know, all the VR headsets. Like, I went to Lenovo, they have their own VR headset that's like $300. What is that, Warren?
No, somebody asked if the late night had a headphone jack.
That's jack, okay. So the VR headset is also an AR headset, right? It does. So and again, it has. I don't know if you ever got a chance to try any of the new headsets. So the headsets are better built than both Oculus and Vive combined. like that. So, you know, so if you ever use HoloLens, you know, it has that nice little tight thing, like grip vice thing. So the Lenovo one has the same build because they're working with Microsoft, and it has a visor flip up. So no longer do you have to take the whole headset off. You just,
that's cool.
You just do this. So you're playing a game and you're like, I need to check, that's it, done. But it also has cameras in front so that it will do AR for you, so that if you have AR games on another, like say HoloLens or something else, you can still use your VR headset at home to still play some of those AR games with it too. So that's why Microsoft is calling it their AR VR solution. It's not necessarily just VR. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays down the line, because I think that's where Microsoft's big push is where they are trying to combine both and push their OEMs, because at the Microsoft had a showcase and they had about 5 or 6 different visors from different companies: Asus, Dell, Lenovo, Acer. The Acer one looked like it looked like Virtual Boy. It was red.
A little ugly.
Yeah, wasn't Acer partnering with IMAX or something like that to do their VR? I could have sworn I remembered that. Like it was an announcement, I think, after IFA, that they were working on some kind of content deal, and so like their VR headset was going to have the widest possible field of view and the highest resolution and the best pickles and awesomeness, and that I can't remember what happened with their announcement.
I have no idea. But yeah, did you see NVIDIA's announcement? I thought they were going to. They had 2 interesting announcements. One was an update to the Shield. The other one was some kind of platform that allows you to upgrade your older systems. But they didn't come out with full details on that, so I wasn't even sure exactly how that worked. You just have something on the NVIDIA website where you sign up, you get more info. Like you can update your old Mac, your old PC, and to run current games. I was like, okay.
I thought they were also trying to get more into cars.
Yeah, they have that too. They have the car demo. I mean, there's a lot of car connected stuff this CES. But that's the thing though. So I did a thing with Bitdefender where I did a tweet chat with them. And honestly, I started getting scared because nobody was talking about like IoT security whatsoever about any of the devices. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, the fact that, yeah, we're throwing all these things out there, but literally, I mean, the only one person who talked about security was Qualcomm, saying if you use their chipset, this is their hardware security solutions they have. But on the software side,
well, and also bonus points to Qualcomm for getting ahead of that, seeing as how their previous generation of chipsets had some issues
yes,
with security exploits. So I'm happy to see that improvement.
Yeah, no, that was, especially when their Qualcomm thing in New York, that was half of their conference.
No, really. We care about protecting your data.
No,
we really do.
It was straight up, like, it was one of those things where Qualcomm was just like, look, here's the performance. It's great. Now let's talk about security.
Oh, real quick, I did have one question, especially I don't know how I spaced this while you were talking about that, given the wall of headphones behind you. On Qualcomm's AR solution, that little AR visor, how do they handle audio for that?
So there two. There was like speakers around here that was giving spatial sound in a sense. It was loud, but I first didn't think there was going to be audio. I just kind of put it on and I was like, wait, this sound, like, are you doing spatial sound? The guy was like, yeah, it's kind of like, I was like, I can hear it. I can actually hear it well, but it's like, you can also connect headphones to, if you want to, but it was quite audible for the spatial sound for it. So I was like,
now, did you get to play with the LG Tone, the wearable speaker?
No, I didn't.
Speaker?
No.
I'll be curious to see if anything like that can really take off, because I thought it was really unique. But again, it's one of those things, like, until someone gets to play with them, they'll have no idea if that'll be something they'll really like. And at $250, it's a little too much for it to just be like, oh, I'll just experiment or I'll give it a whirl. It'll be an interesting kind of proposition for people who are into watching movies or playing games from their phones.
Yeah, I think that one would be also kind of annoying because this is a round your neck speaker, man. Come on.
Well, but I mean, it's not too much different than you've seen the other Tones. They all have that little neck band thing.
Yeah, but those are earbuds, right? Doesn't this one have like speakers on there?
Well, too? Yeah, but I mean, it wears about the same as just the regular neck band that they've been using anyway. I'm talking about
the noise. Just, I don't want to walk around next to somebody with speakers.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely going to be an etiquette thing. It really, see, that's what I mean, is it's got some, like, it's such a unique idea because it creates this great little bubble of sound around your head. So you can't hear things from outside as well, but everyone can hear what you're listening to. Then they also have earbuds that click out.
Now, if it was using the same,
you're around other people, but then that's the same as any one of their other wireless Bluetooth headsets.
Did you ever see tech from Turtle Beach, and they have it in stores that have this positional sound? So Turtle Beach,
I mean, I haven't gotten to try it. No.
Turtle Beach bought this company a few years ago, and they actually have it in kiosks in Best Buy. So you're walking by like a Call of Duty kiosk, and until you step right in front, then you get all the sound. If you're standing right next to it, you don't hear anything. You have to be in front of it because it pushes out sound in linear positions.
Now, I mean, the Tone actually does do some shaping like that, but if you're right next to it, you can still hear it. But it's way more localized than if you just had like some random Bluetooth speaker hanging around your neck, Flavor Flav style. It is more focused than that, but it's not completely sealed off from the rest of the world, obviously. And that's why it includes a pair of earbuds. You can click out the earbuds and pop them in if you don't want people to hear everything that you're doing.
Okay. No, anything else? Anything you want to add, Warren? I know we've just been kind of like yapping here for a second. Sorry.
No, nothing much to add to that. I've been kind of reading some stuff in the chat. Some people are looking for some people asking about an LG Flex 3. Probably never going to see that light of day of that thing. There's some people talking about, everyone should take advantage of Samsung mess up with their notes catching fire. I said, only one company really did, and it was Google, and that was just a right place, right time type of thing. That wasn't something I think they meant to be there. They just happened to be the ones there, and it fell into their lap. If Xiaomi had any type of like U.S. presence like that, they would have launched that Mi Mix in the U.S. really fast after that.
Yeah,
and that thing would have definitely taken some Note users.
That's a nice looking phone, man.
it will, or or even people that may be willing to try something a little different. Honors Magic, should have been here in the U.S. somewhere during that time.
I got
Mate 9 should have been here in the U.S. really around. That's now it's here. Really if they really could have got it in right last quarter, it would have done some damage.
Yeah, because now, it's still going to have to go up against an early HTC announcement. We'll probably see LG trying to push up the timing on their announcement for whatever G6 is going to be.
I think that's going to be the least look forward to phone of 2017.
The G6.
I think people are just not excited to see what LG's going to have to offer in smartphones.
Do
you know they announced new phones at CES? Does anybody know they did?
Well, come on. Most of the new phones, it's the same thing as saying, like, can you tell me all about the new Samsung A series? If LG's out there with the K series phones,
there's probably more videos and more things out there about the A series from Samsung.
I don't doubt that because it has a Samsung name on it.
But it's also a pretty good phone that should have released in the U.S. It is. It's a good, solidly built phone that should be released in the U.S. The K series is not something that should be.
But ditto, like the ZTE announcement. I thought the ZTE starting to talk about some of their other mid-rangers coming here to the United States. I thought that was kind of an interesting discussion.
I tried to get it. I walked past that booth 3 times trying to get excited for it. Trying to get myself to record that thing, and I was just like, I don't care.
I don't know so much about their.
I felt like nobody. There's no.
No. For me, it wasn't so much about their community driven the Kickstarter phone or whatever it is that they're coming out with, the Project Hawkeye. For me, it was the Blade. Was it the Blade series phones? Yeah,
Blade 8 or Blade, whatever the name it is.
It's the first time they are bringing that phone to the United States. So that makes me happy. It was the same reason why I was so disappointed. We got a lot of shade for how snarky we were about the Xiaomi press conference. And it was like, I needed to hear any kind of U.S. strategy. This is a company I really want to be talking about more. It's a company I'm very interested in sharing my experiences with. And it's a company that continuously ignores North America. So they have nothing for us.
No, I definitely agree.
Speaking of LG's becoming Sony, Ryan Martin says, nah, because LG will at least still show a phone. Sony didn't show anything in terms of a phone.
The problem, LG does seem to care. It's that I think they're directionless right now. And I think they've got some of the worst marketing PR on the ground strategy I think I've seen from a company where I'm genuinely enjoying some of their products. It's just like, damn, man, trying to raise the visibility on a phone like the V20 shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah. It's interesting from seeing the different aspects of LG. And you notice it every year at the show. And especially, I think we all notice it probably a little more this year when you go there and you see how the press around their TVs are, the press around their home appliances are, the presses around like some of their automation, like robots and things like that, the little robot speaker thing that they have going on, and you see all these different things that they're really talking about, and then you get to the phones, and even their monitors are getting great, press and things. People are talking about that, but then you get to the phones, and it is the biggest afterthought out of anything, and it's the one place where you can get your branding presence out for anything else you want connected to a device. I remember speaking with Leiko about this, and that's one of the things why they were very prominent about smartphones. And they said that we feel we can sell a lot of smartphones, we can sell this TV too.
That is very true.
But it's the same thing, like Link057 in the live chat writing Gordon Levitt LOL. It's like, you've got all these companies that are doing this amazing job of outreach. I think Apple still has some killer commercials. I think Samsung still has some killer commercials. And then you've got LG where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is dancing with the phone. That is not fun.
Oh my God.
It's not a fun phone. Life's fun when you play more, but here's this monster truck of a content creation phone. Like, it has nothing to do with what this phone is about. Drives me nuts.
LG is funny, but you know who's also funny for me though was Sony. Because
phone, nothing.
It wasn't a phone. So you know me. I went to the South. I went to the South Hall downstairs. I did my audio rounds, checked out all the headphones, And then I made it over to Sony. I wanted to try out their noise canceling headphones because I haven't reviewed them yet. And I was like, okay, they're not bad. And then the lady one of the ladies was talking to me there, showing me some of the stuff. He's like, oh, we have our premium headphones. Since you were talking about vinyl and all this stuff, you should go check it out. So I walk over there and I take a listen. And mind you, just to juxtaposition, the day earlier, Warren and I sat down at Focal's little party and took a listen to some this were the $4,000 headphones.
I don't know. I know I couldn't afford them.
Yeah, but we had a good, beautiful, just listening experience. You sat down
inside of a bar.
In the bar, and it was,
mind you, inside of a bar.
Inside of a bar.
And it was, you could hear everything so beautifully, and it was just
So this is an audio company who makes good audio.
Mm-hmm.
Walk over to Sony's premium booth, and they had the headphones. They're black, stylishly. When you get to that price, style is. I mean, people start designing whatever they want to design at that price point.
Mm-hmm.
I put them on, and they were good. They were definitely not worth $2,400. And
was it connected to one of their MP3 DACs, MP3 Walkman?
It was connected to the Walkman, which is connected to one of the Sony DACs. This was playing FLAC files. They had one connected vinyl. I mean, they had this set up right. And I'm listening to the audio, and I'm like, I just left Booredatwork, and I listened to a pair of $600 headphones from them, which are 10 times better. We're not even getting close to those Focals that we listen to.
Let's put it, dude. When I go to shows, once I listen to B&O and Focal and all those other high-end places, I don't go nowhere else. There's no point. You're not gonna have a positive, unless they throw the term gaming on top of it. You're not going to have a positive experience with it. Unless they say gaming or they say something like Bluetooth, you will not have a positive experience with it. It's like I go to Blue, I go to Focal, and you go to B&O, and it's like everyone else. You don't care anymore.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm saying that Sony said it was premium, like $2,400 premium type headphones. So
you know what? Wait a minute. Are those? I think those are the headphones they pair with the MP3 Walkman, the $1,200 Walkman.
Yeah, it was a $1,200. Is it $1,200? Yeah, you're right. $1,200 Walkman. I think
you can buy that together, and I think it's something a little bit less than that. I think
there was a $4,000 DAC. Amp. I said DAC, amp, and 20. So I was expecting like Nirvana, like listening experience, and I was like, in my mind, I'm going. I listened to that, and when I went to Booredatwork, this guy plugged it into an iPhone. This just showed you the difference. It was an iPhone playing MP3s, and I was like, Sony, man, please don't do this.
Or the $600 B&O speaker that just it's right there, and you just starts playing music off of it. And they're not even using anything fancy other than mesh Wi-Fi to play the audio.
Yeah.
And it's just like Sony. Like I went to Sony's booth, and the reason I mainly go is because at the end of the day, if you want the best video quality out of a camera, you go right to the Sony booth because they hands down dominate that market. And when I wanted to go take a look at the RX100 Mark V, I think it's called the $1,000 point and shoot.
Yeah,
and I think it does 4K 60 inside of it. Oh no, maybe 4K 30. It's 4K 30.
4K 30. 4K 60 yet.
4K. That's not 4K 60 yet. I remember talking to the guy that said they tried, but they couldn't quite get it to work. And that thing does everything under the planet that a DSLR does in the body of this. It is the most amazing thing you'll see. Only thing you can't do. The only downside of that thing is that you can't switch lenses out of it. Really its only downside. But are you going to care about doing that when you see the quality that comes out of that thing? It's like you're really only other thing you'd be mad you can't get a telephotic zoom lens on it. That'd be the only thing you would say if I can't take something super far away.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have much in terms of new camcorder announcements. It's kind of last year's stuff, but they didn't need to do that. I mean. They're
really ahead of the curve compared to a bunch of your other traditional camera manufacturers.
Way ahead
of the curve because everyone else is doing they're trying to do video through the DSLRs, which it's improving, but I still argue that like that's not its main purpose or its actual That's not the proper tool for application when it comes to doing video editing. I feel like DSLRs that can happen to do good video, and if you know how to edit well with it, you can make it work very well for you, versus a camcorder, which will take a lot of that work out of the equation, because that's what it's meant to do. Sort of type of thing. Not saying that DSLRs can't record great, because we've seen that it does, but it seems, but I've always seen it seems like there's more work to be done on that versus just taking up
and I think companies like Canon, I'll pick on Canon because I'm a Canon shooter. Companies like Canon seem to have seeded where they sort of invented the notion of capturing video from the live view of a DSLR. Now it's like, well, what we really want you to do is invest in a C300. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the YouTubers were the real cause of doing this, because they're buying these things.
Well, and news outlets were really on top of using video from DSLR.
Actually, the first person. Oh my God, I just forgot the director's name, but Slumdog Millionaire was shot solely on a DSLR, if I'm not mistaken. I definitely know this. All the scenes in Mumbai. That was one of the movies that really pushed using that a lot.
But that is also a little bit different. That they're using a DSLR, yes, but there's probably 5-figure lenses on those things, and high. There's a lot of high end stuff going on. It's not just the body and a lens they're throwing onto that. They're probably recording straight to SSDs, if anything. And there's a lot going on to make that thing look amazingly great. That allows them to do that, instead of, it's probably still cheaper than buying a $35,000 standard movie camera to record, most likely, and paying the guy to operate it. But what was I saying? I was like, it was a lot of YouTube that started, but I remember the biggest problem with those things is the one, they'd overheat, and two, they were so limited to like 15 minutes of video or something like that. Yeah. Like the longest time.
No, even till now, except the GH5 doesn't have a limit.
And you had to find the right. You really had to find the right storage cards to work with those things when it came to video. And it was It wasn't something like as easy as that's why I'm always proponent. When people ask me, how you decide to get a camcorder, please. Or point and shoot, or your phone. I think those things are great tools to start off with, or if you get a camcorder or something like that. A DSLR is a great thing to have, but just remember its primary application isn't video.
Okay. Let's see. What else did we see at the show that we liked? There's one thing I felt about this show, though, is that I didn't have that much that I really like. To Warren's point, I really loved, and I was like, yay,
well, I did see that. I really got excited when I saw that slim Synology, the tiny one that apparently they announced 6 months ago. I was like, where the hell did y'all announce this thing? Because they didn't tell anyone. Yeah, clearly, and they were kind of shocked. People were excited about this thing and said, "Yeah, this thing is basically the business in your hand. It's like this big, and it's like can do everything with it, and it can take SSDs, and that thing was pretty cool. I got excited for that." Blues headphones I got excited for, because all the ones that they showed were good. Satellite is still
they had a good spread for hardware there too. I think they're doing better figuring out their consumer strategy, getting outside of just like USB mics and high-end studio microphones.
Oh yeah, the headphones they're wired headphones, the planar headphones for like $699.
Yeah, the satellites, which are still kind of embedded, those were good. They just the band was a little tight. They always have this thing where their headphones always start off a little too tight, and then they re-engineer it again to make it not as tight as it was like with the Mofis originally.
Oh yeah,
but they found I think a niche in the market of really like high end headphones for MP3 audio. Like for the streamers and for those out there that really want something that sounds really, really good. And not necessarily listen to entire FLAC albums and stuff like that. But if you want to do that stuff and you want to use something like a HTC Sen or LG V20 with a good DAC or even a standalone DAC, it's able to do that and do that very, very well.
Yeah.
Sorry, the satellite has a built-in amp on that too.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Everything had a built-in amp this year from Blue. Everything did. All three of them did. And the interesting thing with the satellite was the first to have two drivers in it. One meant for active noise cancellation. So when you turned it on, your audio quality didn't drop. It stayed the same.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing as Sennheisers, because I'm testing out the Sennheisers PX550, and it puts
I didn't get a chance to go by and see them this year.
It puts as much as I do not review Sennheiser stuff, it puts this Bose to shame. Bose cannot talk about noise cancellation anymore because they do the noise cancellation and your audio quality is just spot on. You guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
I think that has a lot to do with the way Blue explained it about having another driver in there, like or specifically that particular thing. It increases the price significantly when you do that, but it's there. But we're also talking about headphones that are like they're on-ear speakers. These things are on-ear speakers. This isn't like your standard headphone. Like when you get to that price point, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at like really massive drivers. It's like they took a speaker and put it on your ear.
Remember when we went through the whole discussion with Focal and the guy was explaining that the $4,000 headphones are made with beryllium drivers. I was like,
some rare metal.
I was like,
I don't know the chemistry major over here. Busted out a periodic table to explain all this stuff to me. I was like,
but yeah, they were talking about that, and you're like, and that's the thing I always like to tell people about audio. Like, yeah, it's always great and dandy until you listen to one, and I think it was really cool they chose the bar. It was like it wasn't like a fancy bar in Vegas. It was dive bar.
It's supposed to be a dive bar. Well, a dive bar for what is going to be on a Vegas Strip dive bar, because that still wasn't totally dive bar. It was still a little more high end. It's like, I want to take that to over to one of the bars here in Boston and really play one of the corner bars over here.
But the other thing was it was a dive bar, and they were playing Pour Some Sugar on Me, with the speakers up there, and then you put on the headphones and you're in your own world. And I'm like, that's what I would love to see people do with your, listening experience, really get that in there.
Speaking of sound and things like that, going down into more the consumer level, because that's a high-end market. Those are very niche things, but going more to consumer level, I think a lot of things that Plantronics has been doing, and also with Plantronics has been doing a lot of great. Like the one thing, funny thought, I was with a couple other tech bloggers. We were all together for CES this year. Each one of us had one pair of headphones with us, and they were all the Pro 2s. Like everyone had the Backbeat Pro 2s, like in the house, and everybody that I saw it around the show floor. Anybody that had a headphone from Plantronics, it was those Pro 2s. Because it was such a high quality headphones. But what I really wanted to talk about was the Rig 600. The reason I want to talk about that thing is because I remember in the briefing, the main thing that they talked about, the first thing they said when he mentioned he was like, "This is for the adult millennials," and I was like, "Yes." It didn't have any crazy colors with it. It didn't have anything wacky, any gimmicks or anything like that. It was a high quality mic, high quality headphones, and it had just a nice sleek black and gold look to it. Like when I saw it, it immediately stood out to me from all the other products that they had there, and it literally said, "We're pitching this to the adult millennial market." And I was like, that's really interesting. Right. And another company did that as well too, was Lucid Sound at Showstoppers. They were at Showstoppers. Those right there. Then I should be getting a pair of those real soon to review. I mean, those are they remind me. They're pretty much like the Rig, the Flex
LX,
the Flex LX, which has an awesome mic with it. If you've been listening to any of the live streams I've been using this those headphones to do that. I'm probably going to switch to these, but look at them, sleek. They look nice. There's nothing crazy about them.
Yeah,
but they're high quality headphones, and it's like you can walk. Like you could take off that mic, walk out the door with your headphones, and you're not like shamed. Basically, you don't looking like a goofball. I mean, they look like a regular pair of on-ear headphones with that. And I noticed they really mentioned that, and also Lucid Sound was at Showstoppers, and they also had their whole lineup was that there was a group of guys that left Mad Cats, and basically
actually the founder of No, not Mad Catz, the founder of Triton.
Triton, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Triton, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Triton. Mad Catz bought Triton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After they bought, he left, I believe.
Yeah, he left. They all left, and they said, we want to do something premium quality, good sound, not looking like a crazy hot mess of nonsense. And if you see all their headphones, it's like there were some sexy, good-looking headphones that were. They had a couple of there that were just like. They had one that was definitely, it was more for a female gamer, but it was kind of that rose gold and sort of kind of gold and sort of soft white color. But I could see that being out, like you could wear that, and I could see a woman wearing that out about on her day with like a Apple Watch, something that matches with it. It just that's what I'm talking about on the level of how it looked and how it blended in. But they're gaming headphones, so I saw like 2 companies with that. So I'm thinking this year that might be a big push we might hear a lot about. Of toning down the gaming headphones to be, more like from Earth.
No, I mean even.
Well, you guys have heard me. Like I'm tired of looking at like Mountain Dew fueled Transformers on my skull. Like I want something that looks like classic cans, and I'm always going to be happier with broadcast gear because of that.
Yeah, no. I mean, even last year, I was going to show you guys. This is SteelSeries. They went with just pure black. They're using ski goggle bands, like the bands we use for ski goggles, as the top band, and they try to go with a simpler look, because even they themselves were like, only one version has like LED lights here for PC gamers, and that's pretty much it. And even the LED lights is, you really can't see it unless it turns on. So I think you're right. Everyone's kind of moving away from the craziness of multicolors and big boxy, and like
it seems like that's getting more reserved for like the tournament style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and stuff like that, or for the really younger demographic.
I'm not gonna have like my purities anymore.
Yeah.
These are gone.
No.
Bright and electric yellow. Or
you are messing up the contrast on the Hang out.
I mean, really. Can you put it up again? Let's do that contrast one more time.
We'll do.
Yeah,
and see. You got the monsters. Because I really do enjoy taking phone calls and watching movies on these, but they are not primary go-to audio music listening experience cans.
Yeah, but you're definitely right. There's some cool stuff on the lower end in music in terms of sound. I went to Soul Republic, and I was talking. Actually, the founder was there.
Kevin.
Is it Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's Kevin.
What's his dad's name? His dad is a founder of
Noel.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah,
it's Kevin Lee. I think
Kevin was there. It was pretty good chatting with him, and we're talking about the in-ear wireless earbuds, the amps.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there was a push. Not to interrupt you. A huge push for this truly wireless movement now. I think that's what they're calling them now. Like truly wireless is the earbud term that everyone's going with now.
So he was talking about trying to get bass into those headphones, because all of them are just pretty much flat. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, they don't have any I'm not even talking about like having like crazy bass. I'm just talking having like any kind of bass. So we were talking about, I didn't even ask him a question talking about that. And I looked at him like how your headphones sound. It's like, I do. I like bass. I was raised in the house with bass. So I tried to put in as much, so if you look at theirs, they're actually thicker, because they were able to jam in the drives, and they took away. He said, I decided not to go with any extra sensors like heart rate or anything. And I'm like, there are people who are going to do that for sports. We're not known for sports anyway, so we might as well try and give you true wireless that will give you some semblance of like good music. I'm like, all right. So I think Stephanie will be doing that review on that one, see her thoughts on it. But there were a lot of companies who were pushing those true wireless earbuds, from like small audio manufacturers to the big ones. So
I mean, competing with the truthfully, the Gear Icon X is what really started that. But then everyone's obviously going to we're competing with Apple.
Did the Gear come out before the Jabras?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
I mean, technically, if Sam were here, it would be the Braggy, because Sam loves his Braggy. So
right. I forgot about that.
Sam is a Braggy Kickstarter supporter. So
what's up with Sam and Kickstarter supporting, man?
It's not that he's look. Sam has this romantic idea of Kickstarter. I think I don't know. I'm misquoting him completely here. But I mean, he loves to support things on quick Kickstarter. I mean, so hey.
But ultimately, I think in wrapping up all of the audio stuff too, there seemed to be more of a concerted discussion on better noise cancellation technologies. I saw a couple of booths that were trying to bring molded solutions to lower price points.
I saw a company that was looking at that, like a custom mold. I didn't get a chance to go to them because we can discuss maybe at a later time the horrible scheduling that the CES was in terms of getting anything. Like you really had to stay strict on your schedule if you were going to get anything done. You couldn't try to veer off. There was no veering off.
It made it worse me walking around at that show floor, man. I couldn't get to half of my meetings, man.
I was telling you, man, you need to get that. You need to get that Segway. The Booredatwork logo on it.
So if you guys didn't know, I was walking around with a cane and the show floor. I mean, like my leg is getting better, but walking those kind of distances, not good at all.
You know, just to give everybody an insight on CES, I know people look at it as you really only see what is on the inside, and usually what's in the mainly what's in central halls, what they usually show off, and it looks massive. It's bigger than that when you get there. Like CES is like none other show possible. I don't even like to call it a conference because I think that gets set an expectation. It is literally 7 days in a different world.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where
it's like a festival almost is the way to say it.
The only show that I've been told that is bigger is Mobile World Congress in terms of size and space, because the show floor there is huge, but CES takes over the whole of Vegas. So you have to go to Mandalay Bay for a couple of days, which is now 2 days or 1.5, whatever you want to call it. There's also different convention locations now split up. So you have the convention center, which is huge. We have 3 halls. You also have the Venetian's Convention Center, the Sands Expo, and also a lot of rooms in there for
Aria was used this year for the C space.
Aria also.
These gets used heavily, even though it's not really seen as a convention. We all know the pain in the ass of having to go to a meeting at Caesars, because Caesars is, I think, it's the biggest property on the Strip. And good God, good luck finding your meetings. Just remember, there's tower and then there's conference space, and they're both named the same thing. You just got to remember that. They name everything. They name everything the same thing. So if you go into Caesar Tower versus Caesar Conference Space, you better know which one you're going to, or you're going to walk on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, it is.
I think I made my step count 2 days thanks to Caesars.
Oh,
all on Caesars by itself.
Or just going into the Venetian on that one day everybody decides to go, and you're sitting there just an elevator line for an hour trying to get in and up out of there, which is ridiculous.
I was gonna ask any cool quirky tech that you guys saw at the show, like anything that just popped up and you were like,
all right, that's pretty totally frivolous. I can't even recommend it to anybody, but something that I'll probably be picking up is the baselet. Do you guys see that?
No,
it's a wearable subwoofer, and that's all it does. So it's like this big black box, and it's not like just a haptic pad. It's like a full-on actual sub speaker that just vibrates your arm, and it's
sweet, baby.
It's flipping hot. I freaking want one so bad, and it's gonna be like $200.
You know what to get Juan for Christmas now,
and I want one. And I want one because I hope it'll do well, because I think it would be cool to have a company really addressing haptic feedback. Like if you were to build that into an actual proper smartwatch, or better like what you do with Apple's Taptic Engine. If you put Apple's Taptic Engine on steroids and actually made it a part of like a communication system, I think that could be pretty sick. But really, I just want it because it does give you just this very minor sensation of standing in front of the sub at a club. And I just thought it was awesome.
Is that because you're not clubbing that much anymore? You want to bring the club?
No, it's because I refuse to do that now, because I don't want to blow my hearing out. But but it's still like, there's that sensation of the physicality of having speakers hit you with sound, and you don't really get that as much anymore. But if you could do it with haptics, if you could do it with wearables, start building that kind of tech into like full body suits. then that could be pretty crazy. I think they've got a partnership with a car manufacturer that they're going to be building haptic, these subwoofer based haptic feedback into car seats. I can't remember who the manufacturer is now. It's going to drive me crazy. But as part of the notification system, so like, you know, it'll tie into the road guidance system. So if you start drifting, it'll start giving you pulses. If you get notifications and alerts, you don't have to make everything audio. You can switch some of those things over into tactile sensations too. I think this is a hugely unexplored territory. But their first product, like I said, is wacky, silly, and completely frivolous, and I want it like crazy.
I got a couple of things that were interesting. The first, this one real quickly, was the Link box, this little Link Square thing. It's a small little device that has a Qualcomm processor inside of it, and up to 2 terabytes of storage in it, and 15 devices can stream to it right from that little box. And it has a ability to add a LTE card to it. So you can they actually had a pretty decent sized booth for just this one little thing, no bigger than a wall adapter. It's like this big, no bigger than a wall adapter. Little tiny thing that you could stream a ton of stuff to. I thought that was pretty cool. And I can't think of I just had the other thing in my head and I can't remember what it is now. There was another thing that I thought that was pretty cool. I'll remember by the time you do yours.
Okay, cool. I didn't. I don't have that much, honestly, because I didn't make it to many places. But what I did like.
Oh, okay, I know what it was now.
Yeah, I mean, the two things I did like, which were not quirky and small, was I made it over to the Sands Expo, and I got to see. I mean, I already have one, but I got to see the newer version of Fossil's hybrid connected watches.
Yeah, what do you think? I just got one too. Yeah.
I like them. Like, okay, you know me, I'm not the smartwatch person, so me having a proper Skagen that looks like a wristwatch, and I'm not Sam who's going to be checking everything. I just check it and I go, okay, I did 10,000 steps today, or I did 12,000, and it also tracks my sleep. I'm fine. Yeah. I'm good. I mean, I wish it did a little more. I
like it a lot. I just like it also because it does from one of these like third party, you know, because some of the other smartwatches that are trying to claim that they're going to fill the void left by Pebble, I'm all in wait and see mode because I don't want to invest time and energy into getting on into another system that might go bust after another year. And the thing I like about the Skagen is, like, let's say they don't do anything with hybrid watches ever again, and the watch is sort of like left to wither. At least it's still a nice looking watch.
Yes, that's
you know, like it's a decent looking timepiece that I can still wear.
And that's the thing I liked about it, is the fact that the battery life is 1 year. It's 6 months if you're constantly on Bluetooth. And to change the battery, all you need to do is go to you can buy the battery on Amazon, watch battery, and then you use your use a coin, open up the back, and you're done. And put it in. Simple. So I really like that aspect about it. And I like that, so this one is thicker, but I mean, for me, doesn't feel thick, but they have slimmer versions just so that people who wanted something more streamlined and slim. So I definitely like that. And then right next to them or close by was, what's the name of the company? Sleep Number. Sleep Number showed their 360 bed. So at PepCom, second last PepCom in New York, I think it was September or so, they had something called the It Bed. It was Sleep Number's first bed in the box, but that version also had a lot of sensors in there. It had sleep tracking sensors. It also connected to your thermostat and all that kind of fun stuff in there. So they brought a lot of the tech into their regular Sleep Number series with 360, added a few more things in terms of positional sleeping, how you sleep, where your body rests, because they couldn't really track that with a bed in the box version. So there were a lot more tracking capabilities, and besides the Sleep Number stuff anyway that you always find in there, but everything. And they now have a centralized app, and it was cool to see that they were not just tracking your sleep, but they were basically showing you how badly you sleep in the first place. Like they're like
you're bad at sleep and you should feel bad.
Yeah, you're doing this wrong. And
the Microsoft Band does a little bit of that too. It'll tell you if you're how good the sleep was.
Yeah, so this one ties it to like your body and how you're sleeping, how that relates to your sleep number, like all these different things. So like I thought that was pretty cool that they showcased the whole environment. So for me, those two, but I would say definitely the Skagen connected watches. The cool thing about those is that Fossil owns Skagen, Emperor Armani, Michael Kors, Kate Spade. I mean, all the watch brands for them.
Mm-hmm.
They create all that.
Do they own, or is it that they're also sort of like an ODM? Because I thought for Michael Kors, that Michael Kors is its own distinct brand, and they're utilizing Fossil manufacturing.
You could be right on that one, but I think Fossil does own Skagen. I think that might be the one watch manufacturer they own. But I think
and not that I'm sad about this, because I flipping love this watch.
So which one do you have? Do you have a Fossil or do you have a? Because
I have the Skagen. I have the Skagen hybrid. Is my camera not focusing?
No. My screen is completely froze.
Oh, okay.
Do you have the silver one or you have a black one?
Yeah, I have I think it's the exact same one that you've got.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a fantastic watch. But the app is the same for all of their brands. Yeah. If you switch, I mean, the colors are different, and of course the naming is different and all that. But once you turn the app on, you're like, oh, I know what this is immediately. So if you went from a Michael Kors to a Skagen, or you went from a Skagen to a Fossil, nothing will slow you down from using that app immediately. So I definitely like
and a couple points too. Like it's super discreet because you have to program what notifications you care about, and it's not like when I wear an Android Wear watch and then I pick up my daughter and she instantly starts swiping away notifications or changing my watch face. So it's got that sort of toddler proof classic watch design, which I really like.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Sorry, my screen is completely frozen. Not my screen, it's the browser itself. Like it literally, it said stop flash plugging, and then it just stopped everything. But I guess I'm still talking here, so
we still hear you.
Go ahead, Warren.
I was gonna say the one thing I was gonna say, other thing I liked was the Super Retro Boy.
Oh yes, I saw that.
I didn't get to play with that.
I saw that on your Instagram, man.
Yeah, I got a hands-on video of it up on the YouTube channel. So it's a little Game Boy that plays Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, original Game Boy games, and it uses the cartridge. 2,500 milliamp battery, 10 hours of battery life, USB charging, up and whatnot. TFT backlit display. It's kind of in a little bit of a. I don't want to say beta. It's not the final design of it yet because they put the LNR in a unique place, which is above B&A instead of the triggers being on the sides. And the screen isn't necessarily that wide enough, formatted enough yet. Because certain games that are probably more Game Boy Advance driven have a little bit of a wider display than what that has. Remember, the original Game Boy Advance is a little bit of a not widescreen, but it had a little bit of wider display than the standard Game Boy. So they might have to do some things like that. But the game we were playing was I was demoing it. It was like F-Zero from Japan. So
wow,
that could be another reason why it wasn't fully going that way. But it's pretty cool. They're planning to release it in August for like $80.
So I mean, like I think this kind of comes back. As much as I love Nintendo emulators, I kind of want the feel or the vibe, the hardware behind what my classic gaming experiences were like. Why my wife was so into trying to get one of those NES classics and ultimately got so pissed off the way that they launched it. When you see that kind of stuff, it's like I want it. I saw someone made like that iPhone phone case where they would run a Nintendo emulator just in a strip at the top of the screen, and then you would snap on a case that had capacitive buttons to engage with the game. And like I want stuff like that. I love that old school gaming tactile feel for mobile rigs like that.
I think there's definitely a market for that. I think that the whole Nintendo fiasco happening is going to get people looking at things like the Retron and things like I forgot there was a couple more of the Retrobit show that I can't remember on top of my head, but things like that. They're going to be looking at these ones that are cartridge based or the ROM based, wherever you get your ROMs from, whatever ones that are out there, that solutions that might push this market even a little bit further, probably a little bit more than what Nintendo's gonna like, but it's saying something when you see the excitement for the retro 8-bit gaming. It's always kind of been out there, but now it's like more people seem to be more interested in going back and playing those old school games.
I mean, it's very simple. If it's like how we talked about with movies and content, and the reason why we pay for Netflix. If you give people a cost-effective medium to get what they want, they'll pay for it. And if you don't actually try and make false, demand scenarios, they will go out and buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the same. If you make it available and affordable, and give people enough content and things that they want, they typically go buy it.
Yeah,
they typically go buy it. And that's if you want to combat piracy, that's the way to go. It's just make it available to people, or
you could be like the Grand Tour on Amazon and produce and show that is now like the single most pirated piece of content for 2016.
Well, remember when they were on what do you call it again? The original show, Top Gear. It was the most watched show on the planet. So
yeah. And you had the BBC infrastructure for actually
seen an episode
that was monetized views around the world, not just super downloaded. Now it's just super downloaded.
Yeah.
Considering everybody has Prime, damn it! Like, do they even know they can just go watch it for free?
No. Well, it's also
because Amazon. I know it's outside the US. Amazon's really bad about doing that one. Like, hey, your Prime is available with your Prime Video subscription. It's like, does anybody know this? I swear they mentioned it once in a blue moon. It's like you basically playing for your own Netflix and sitting there.
I think after this first season of I just forgot the name of their show again. The guys from Top Gear. Yeah. After this
on
the Grand Tour, after this season, they will push Prime Video with it constantly, and that was a good cue in there. The guys from Top Gear on the Grand Tour.
That show's all about they just do car reviews and stuff, right?
Well, they don't even really do reviews. It's basically just old men being overgrown man children with $1 million exotic cars, and that's why you watch, because they're just gonna talk shit to each other the whole time while you've got sexy driving footage in like the Italian hillside or something like that.
No, but they also do like stupid gags. I mean, like they would take it,
prank each other.
Yeah, like it's like seeing three of us and we're like, all right, fine, okay, Warren, go get the car. And Warren goes away and it's like, all right, let's let him do this when he gets back. That kind of thing. So it's a show where you get to learn more about cars, but also you just enjoy they have like a very good chemistry with each other in there.
Okay, because I remember, I think, I've heard of Top Gear before, but I think I didn't know what the show was until I read it in Elon Musk's book, because he went on a rant and was about to like destroy all of them for the review. Because they didn't, because the review on the Tesla. But they were kind of inaccurate in a lot of their points.
Well, no, it wasn't that they were inaccurate. They dramatized what it would be like if your Tesla ran out of battery power.
Yeah, they've
never dramatized what it would be like if you were on a track and your car ran out of fuel. Yeah. So I think they were pretty shitty about that. They did the same thing with the Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, so it's like we're just mad that gas is going away or something. I don't know. But
they're totally petrol heads. And,
they are petrol heads. I mean,
that's nice. They can be petrol heads. I mean, we can leave them. We can leave them outside of the dome. They could be outside of the dome.
No, just like the thing I don't get about like the hardcore, most obnoxious petrol heads like that is like, maybe go and take a test drive in a Tesla, because man, when they really put the throttle down on an electric car, it is fucking phenomenal to behold.
It is. But see, coming from a medium petrol head, I've done it.
Medium my ass.
Okay, fine. Big petrol head. Yeah. See, but that's the thing, that it's one thing. It's like straight line speed, and it is fantastic. But that reminds me of an American car. And American cars that's all they do is go one way straight. Tesla doesn't do your corners, your bends. Those are the things, but it's still better than even an standard American car anyway. So I think it's just, for most petrol heads, it's just understanding that, look, yes, your engine is going to change. Your engine is going to change to electric.
I've not been in the new the Model S, but I thought that the Tesla Roadster, which was built by Lotus, held its own fairly well. So I'm hoping that future Teslas can kind of get back to that.
The Model S, it's what do you call it? It's insane mode. It truly is. I mean, the only way you can get close to that is a Porsche 911 Turbo S, which is an extra like 100 grand above that. You know, that's how you can get those kind of speeds to even come close or match it in terms of kickoff speeds. But the driving experience on the Tesla, that's why I always get pissed with the car. I'm like, if you're paying $190,000 for it, this feels like my Honda.
So, and I also hear these kinds of arguments a lot, like from Ronald Collins. Sorry, but I think he means, sorry, gas isn't going away. I haven't seen a battery power car do 300 plus in the quarter mile in less than 5 seconds. And you're like, sure.
I don't care.
But now you're talking about like straight up funny car stuff, man. Not like
I'm regular, don't give a damn about car guy that pretty much generates the market, that pays the bills. Don't give a fuck.
And Ronald,
I mean, that's just the truth. We don't give a fuck.
If you own that kind of kit, then what are you doing watching our little tech podcast, man? Why aren't you out there racing that car? Like,
why aren't you at the auto show?
Detroit's going on right now.
Why are you not at the auto show?
No. I mean,
I'm just saying it's I can't get the level of Tesla performance anywhere near Tesla's price.
Yeah. Well.
So I'm fine if I can't do 300 miles an hour in California. We can't even do the speed limit. So
yeah. Well, remember the Tesla's model is the high end down approach, and that's where they're going down. Eventually, when they get to a certain point, in the end of the day, once one of those cars can do about 500 miles on a charge, it's over. Everybody's going to go grab one. It's done.
Everyone was switched to electric at that point.
Like it will be like.
Oh, did you see Mercedes? I know MKBHD did a video on it, their own self-driving car.
I know they crashed their car. I heard about that.
Somebody crashed. No, it's BMW.
No, it was the Beamer.
BMW usually, and they said the person ran away.
Got wrecked.
I don't even know why you ran away because your name is down in the first place. But BMW does this thing where you can sign up and you can pick up any of the BMWs from their electric hybrid all the way to just a regular BMW and just drive. They let you drive it around a little bit. I kind of hate it because the place you're driving is always traffic, so you don't get to drive the car.
I know that's what I was saying. I was like, I always notice those driving things, and I was like, those things are cool, but I'm like, this is CES. The strip is a shit show right now. What am I gonna do? Drive 5 miles an hour down a stop?
No. What BMW needs to do is have the car space out there, have people sign up when they're registering for CES or earlier, whatever the case may be, and then you take a shuttle from there at your allotted time to the desert.
Yeah.
And then
it should be out in the desert. It'd be a little bit far.
Yeah, I mean, you go drive, whatever the case may be.
Hey, the hell, they can use that for the first media day. Everybody just goes out and drives crazy cars, concept cars all day. People would like that. It would get them their attention because no one gives a flippity F about them in North Hall during the CES show. Any car, unless you got some futuristic, crazy look and it turns on and flips and makes hot toast or something like that, nobody cares. Like, what do people go? Everyone goes to North Hall for on the last day to go get free cases. That's what everybody goes to North Hall for.
North Hall.
Wow. And the companies that aren't car companies in North Hall, the only reason they're in there is because they haven't graduated to the other halls yet. There's a pecking order.
Wow.
But in terms of cars and stuff, I think Ozzy in our live chat has the right play. I mean, for a lot of the self-driving and electric tech, I think we'll see it from a company like Uber. When people are sort of getting more comfortable with cabs, driving them around in self-driving vehicles, then that'll be a huge push for consumers.
It's funny you mentioned Uber because I was watching this stuff about their self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. And I was like, why Pittsburgh? But then I realized, they were talking about, they said Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a lot of engineering institutes there, number one, but number two, it is the most organic, meaning one of the most messed up road systems. It's not as bad as Boston as we know it, Warren, but it's because they also have so many hills up and down. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Because wasn't Massachusetts?
It's Pittsburgh on a grid.
No,
but I was gonna say, isn't Boston's like city proper? Wasn't it planned and zoned by a mentally disabled monkey, which was high on meth? I think I read that in a book somewhere.
You also have to. Well, here's the problem. If you go look at old maps of Boston,
I don't know.
Warren's not going for it at all. He's going straight into the explanation.
Yeah. No, because I'm not.
No, because I feel like I used to. My dad was stationed at Hanscom, so we were just outside. We were just outside Boston proper, and every time we go back to visit, because we have some family over there, that is some of the scariest driving I've ever been in the United States. LA roads are tore up, but you generally know how you can get around, and you have multiple avenues for how you can get somewhere.
You have 5-lane highways and more than one highway and a couple of routes to go around. In Boston, you have what, 3 routes that you're lucky if they connect.
And some of the angriest drivers on the planet.
Too. No, that's how you drive in Boston. You have to drive angry. If you do not drive angry, you will not get anywhere around here whatsoever. But then at the same time, we're the same city that Boston was the center, and then all of a sudden they decided to flip it a different way. So South Boston isn't actually in the South, which is it isn't. South Boston and East Boston aren't actually in where they're supposed to be.
But the other thing that I think is really going to upset the auto market is I think China's going to get to a lot of this stuff first. They've got the air purity issues that they need to address. Yeah. They've been throwing a shit ton of money at solar. So they have. Did you guys see the article? This has nothing to do with CES. The article about China's renewables energy platform, where they're probably going to reach their 2020 goals by the end of this year. They've been throwing so much money behind solar and wind right now because they have to. They absolutely have to. When you see that smog roll in, and then it's just it's blackout conditions.
Yeah, it's so bad there.
So when we see that, I think that'll actually spur innovation where the populace is going to get behind it, whereas here in the United States, we're comfortable with gasoline, so we're just going to hold on to it until a market force really forces us to get off of it.
So speaking of that, remember how we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, about Las Vegas hitting its basically running on all renewable energy?
Yeah.
That isn't totally true. I mean, I don't think
that's connected to the strip, though.
Yeah, exactly. That was the part.
Right. So, no way in the hell it would be.
So I was giant asterisk.
Yeah. So I was in the Uber, and I asked the Uber driver. I was like, "Man, so I heard you guys are totally on renewable energy." He's like, so if you take the strip out.
Well, because have you guys ever driven just outside the strip, like past South Point? You drive for about 15-20 minutes. You can see this incredible solar farm.
No. If you're flying in the daytime,
you can see it.
I saw actually 2 solar farms. I think because we made a turn. So there was one on my right and there was one in the valley on the left. And they were massive farms. And I'm going, okay.
When you are driving by them, the light reflecting from all of those panels is visible. Like it's such concentrated light. I mean, it's hard to look at as you're driving by it. It's actually a pretty impressive.
So you're saying it's like which wasn't it the last Bond movie that had like huge solar panels?
No, it was was the movie Sahara? Was it Sahara where they had the fight on the top of one of the solar water rigs?
Yeah,
the steam rigs that they
rigs. Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, well, but hopefully Vegas can find a way to give more power to the casinos through renewable energy. And I feel like ranting about parking with the casinos because I just have to.
Oh yeah, because they flipped it on you this year, didn't they?
Yeah,
they flipped it on everyone.
Yeah, there's parking in casinos. Oh, and guess what? Supposedly, there's going to be a football stadium because they're trying to bring the Raiders to Las Vegas.
Oh, they're going. Yeah, that's happening.
The football stadium is going to be next to Mandalay Bay, on the other side of the highway.
Damn it! So the strip's going to get longer.
Yeah, and check. So. No, actually, it's not going to extend past the football stadium. They said they're going to actually change the runway that comes in on that side. They're actually going to have to redivert the runway in some form or fashion.
God damn it!
But the hotel that started the parking was Mandalay Bay. That was the first hotel that did it, and then other hotels started jumping in. So this is just me
Yeah.
complaining about.
Well, I mean, it's significantly. How much is it? Like $10 or $20?
Well, if you stayed in the hotel, since we stayed there, it was $10. If you're not, then it's more. It's like an extra $7 or so.
I mean, that's expensive to go along with the cab rides that cost around there. Shout out to Uber, because they killed it at CES this year, especially with the Uber Sprint deal that you were able to get to the convention center at no cost.
I didn't even know that about that one.
Oh, you didn't know about if you open up Uber and you went and you were going to the convention center, you chose Uber for Sprint, your ride was free.
Wow.
Every day there. I didn't get a monorail class.
No,
they did. No, they sent out an email and everything. It was in
I didn't get the email. Like, I literally didn't get it.
I had no idea. I didn't see anything.
Because I was
looking for coupon.
Well, you guys were driving though.
No. We didn't even, like, we stopped driving because we had to pay for parking. We're like, okay, it makes no sense anymore. Like, fine, we just chew up the rental cost.
I was still driving, but there would be times where, like, Jaime would be like, I need to take a meeting, so you can just drop me off. And you're like, I need to take a meeting, so you can call a cab. You know, like, I was looking for like Lyft and Uber promo codes. I was on the hunt and I didn't see anything.
No, I saw Uber Sprint. I thought it was just another form of Uber car service.
Or just like, hey, we're proud to announce that at Sprint we're going to preload the Uber app on all of your phones for you.
The problem I'll say with it though is it didn't make it clear that it wasn't just for Sprint customers. It was for everyone, and everyone could get it, had access to it.
But you had
to specifically go to the convention center, and it was up to $10. Anything over $10, you pay just the extra off of that.
Yeah.
But it was like this year. I didn't even get a monorail pass this year.
Ronald said Sprint tweeted it out. Dude, I wasn't paying attention to it.
Like, I'm watching Sprint's Twitter.
Ronald, you don't understand it. CES during that time, you were in a vacuum of if it isn't something that's CES related, and most of the time there's tweets and stuff from companies and stuff like that somewhat get seen, but the majority of stuff that's passed around, like things that are happening at an event, are either through an email or through word of mouth, through everyone messaging each other.
Like Snapchat spectacles, like people were actually talking about where you could go and pick them up. That information made it to my brain. Yeah. Sprint tweeting, no, that's not.
The only reason I saw Snapchat
we sent it in the chat.
What?
We sent it in the chat about the Uber Sprint thing. We sent it to everyone in the chat.
I didn't even pay. Look, I didn't pay attention to that. So.
Yeah, I failed that one too. So
yeah, completely. No, the only reason I wore a pair of Snapchat spectacles, which I completely still hate, is when I went to
they're so terrible looking.
The Kingston,
I was really looking at him like I think I would be more interested in playing with Snapchat if I didn't have to use my phone to produce content, if I could just kind of reach up and hit them. But if I want them to look just like, more like classic Wayfarers, like old school Ray-Bans or something, instead of these weird, like lumpy, curvy, old lady kinds of glasses. I think they look so terrible.
They remind me of shout out to they remind me of Anna's glasses, but the points at the side of them.
Yeah.
They remind me of those. Every time I see those glasses, like they remind me of Anna's glasses. I don't know what that style's called, but I think that retro sort of pointy, like look, and it looks just like those things. All I
know is that Kingston had them at their suite because Kingston RAM and storage is in there. So I was like, wow, so just to know, if you're a Kingston fan or you use Kingston products, Snapchat glasses. Just saying. I mean, no, but I mean, I think overall, I think the show was, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess maybe a little bit mature in a sense for CES.
It was massive. It was you hit the ground running and it went so fast you didn't notice everything. But there was a lot of quality stuff to cover. There wasn't anything that was like uber amazing. But there was a lot of good things. We got a blend of everything. We got a little bit of phones in. We got TVs in. We got VR in there. We got some.
You probably didn't try it. I was like, did you try? I know you tried the Power Rangers VR, but you didn't try any of Qualcomm's VR, did you, Juan?
No, I didn't. I did. Like I said, I didn't get over to Qualcomm.
Yeah, because their VR has 6-point motion or 6-way, whatever they call it. Basically, you can move forward, back, you can move around,
That's
and
cool.
you can look on the end.
And that's another thing too. Is like when I saw Asus playing with Tango, and having played with the Lenovo and playing with Tango, like I'll be really surprised if we keep having to do this thing with mounting sensors to walls. You know, like a little AR tech in the VR experience is going to be really hot once we get better content for it. I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
But and side note, it looks like Clemson took the lead against Alabama.
Nah.
I hate college football, by the way. Most pointless champion. It's a whole crap of nonsense.
I'm always going to be cranky about college football just because I think college athletes should be paid, but that's
yeah. They should be. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, definitely.
Or at least be allowed to control their likeness. So if there's going to be some kind of licensing deal or a video game, that they should profit from it.
Oh yeah, well, the video games they can't use the players' likenesses.
No, that's what I mean. Is if they could control their own licensing on that, then they could cut their own deals on how a game could.
Okay, how about you do a deal where the school has to divvy up a certain amount for the players, and fine, don't pay them, but put it in a fund, and once they graduate or once they leave, they can take their money.
And put some kind of trust too, because especially if they get injured during that time, then I feel like they need some kind of compensation for that.
Then if you don't want to pay the players, that says you're not paying them, but you're actually looking out for their future.
Or a stipend. I really believe as somebody that played collegiate sports, like a stipend would be. I mean, I didn't play as high as Division I, but even in any division, if you play a sport in college, the amount of time and energy and effort you put into it is twice as much as you've done in high school. And you're representing the school that's a for-profit school that's not for-profit, but they're making money off of what you're doing, or whatever the ticket sales, whatever the case may be. I really think there should be at least a stipend provided to them or something, because a lot of these kids don't come from anything, don't have any money, don't have any ways of getting any funds. That's why you get all those little side deals and booster deals and stuff that's going on all the damn time, because they're not getting any money. And looks like Alabama took the lead back.
I think that's about as good a point as any.
I'm just watching it. It's like Alabama. It's Alabama. I know for the most part, it's the Patriots at NCAA. So it's like they basically troll everyone because the NFL draft is mostly what we're watching now, which is all of them.
It's like we're watching the NFL draft. All right, guys, we should wrap up. It's been a good show. We've kind of talked about everything we've experienced and saw. Anything you guys want to state before we end the show? I know it's been rather long, guys, but thanks everyone for chiming in. Also, Warren, anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I think it's all good to go. It was a good CES, just for God's sakes, not this early.
Yeah, that to me, the having to field CES work while I was on vacation for Christmas was a pain in my ass. So if we could just push it back a week, that would be great.
That week is so crucial. It's so crucial. Get you prepared for the show and rested from the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Movie back. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. But overall, it was a fun show. It was good. I mean, I didn't get to hang out with you guys as much as I would like. I mean,
I don't think anybody did, to be honest with you, because of the way the scheduling
I was running quite a bit this year.
It was so tight this year. I was like, yo, we didn't go and hit the clubs and all this stuff like we usually do when we're there this year. Everybody was like, they probably ran around all day. They hit their hotel, and it was like, I think it's a wrap.
True. Yeah. You know what? I mean, hopefully we can do this next year. I'll try and bring it up, but you know, if we find out early who's going to see us, we should plan to meet up the very first day. Something like that, you know, and maybe just do a big live stream or multiple live streams on people's channels. And just have people watching, you know.
But that's what we used to have the ability, because somebody would have an opening party or something like that. So you got to meet everybody that was there, communicate, do a little something beforehand, and then, you know, it was just like this whole opening, you know, getting everybody geared up for the show, and they haven't done that in the last couple of years, which I think is just disappointing because that's kind of the one time where everybody kind of comes and connects and speaks and talks with each other and networks just before the craziness really starts to begin.
Yeah, I would say that was a sort of an odd energy to the show where I know you guys were there. There wasn't like a day 0. It was like day -2 that we were all out there to go and cover our own individual PR meetings and stuff. And by the time the show started, we were already, we were 3 days into work when the show actually opened. So it wasn't like we got that sense of, camaraderie, like we're all going to go hit the opening of the show.
No, it was pretty much like, yo, Juan. Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up?
Right. Everybody's walking past it. Even this year when we usually meet at the Aquanox Villanova has a little event. I mean, that was even smaller and condensed than it used to be. That used to be the one place everybody.
I didn't even make it to any of them. I was soaking my leg in the bathtub, man.
I would just get up and I'm like, I'm knocked out, man. I just like it's like it was so intense. It was like that extra week was such a valuable thing to have because it just got you ready into the show. And then I remember they used to have like the opening party and the closing party and all that other stuff you'd have unveiled, and all those things would come together in a proper way that you would you'd be able to kind of have the energy to see everyone. It was just more well balanced out. I think this year they were just like get it in and survive if you must.
Yeah. All right. On that note, I want to say thank you, Mr. Warren Bowman and Juan, for joining this last minute chat. And we will start season 4 of the weekly.
We've done this for 4 seasons.
That I don't know why. I mean, because there's nothing against you, dude. That just made me feel crazy old. Season 4.
Really? I started this in my 20s.
Damn.
That'll happen.
We start season 4 of the weekly this weekend. Should be this weekend. If anything changes, we'll let you know ahead of time on Twitter. But thank you everyone for joining in the chat. If you have any questions, there's any devices that you saw on any of our channels, definitely just leave the questions below. We'll come in and answer them for you. Old man E helped me to ask around Vegas. Free team line.
You were on your feet, dude. I'm gonna give it to you, especially for how bad you torqued your knee. But I could see
you could see the size of his knees. It is
through my jeans. Yeah,
see, like one was not quite like the other.
Yeah, like
one of these grapefruit is not like the other.
I walked into a meeting. They're like, "Are you just walking around with Pimpkin?" I'm like, "Just look at my knees." They're like, Oh.
But how sick is that? Is like everyone made that pimp joke with you, I'm sure.
No, I mean, see, my thing was either I got a regular cane, then everyone would make an old man joke, or I get a pimped out cane.
Surprised they didn't have Booredatwork scripted on it.
No, I went for the African looking cane. Yeah.
Represent.
My Zamunda staff. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. And join us this Saturday. We'll tweet out the instructions for, of course, our weekly hangout, season 4 of the weekly. So this is Thunder E saying thank you very much. Check out all the channels, Mr. Warren Bowman at BW1.com. We have no more lower thirds. We may not have lower thirds anymore. So we will be holding flashcards in the future. Maybe not.
maybe we just put our names on our phones, a little notepad, just put your name on it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do the whole show like this because Google sucks.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, Mr. Juan Bagnell from Pocket Now. Screen name is Some Gadget Guy on Twitter. You can follow him there. And, of course, it is Booredatwork here, Thunder E, Booredatwork on Twitter as well as YouTube. Thank you very much, guys, and always enjoy your entertainment.
Bam.